Janet Stickmon? Yes, oh, there you go. Okay, there. You're right up next. And on deck is Sanjana. All right, Janet is the author of Midnight Peaches, 2 O'Clock Patience, and Professor of Humanities at Napa Valley College. She is the founder and facilitator of Broken Shackle Developmental Training and a member of the Napa Valley Ethnic Studies Advocates, the Filipino American National Historical Society, and the Philippine American Writers. Stickmon's memoir, Crushing Soft Ruby, has been used in courses at several colleges and universities around the country. Let's welcome Janet. Louder. Go.
Part 2. Hi, baby. I'm going to read part 2 of a 4-part piece called Breastmilk. And this is dedicated to my daughter, Hyacinth. The first 2 weeks of breastfeeding were lonesome. I felt like I was being used. I felt no emotional connection. I was a food dispenser. I thought baby could have cared less where her food was coming from, as long as she was getting fed. I was convinced she didn't know me as mama. In her eyes, I was a blank stare. Baby was too young to focus on anything, and I was too lonely to go without eye contact. You see, I'm a woman who relies heavily on what people's eyes tell me. Excitement, desire, fascination, attentiveness, love, uneasiness, disappointment, contempt. All of these can be found in a person's eyes. If I look carefully enough, clear red, yellow milkiness, steady or suspicious shiftiness can tell me many things about the depth of one's character. Love and admiration of a friend, purity and honesty of a stranger, unadulterated joy and confidence in a child. Eyes tell me many stories and few lies. I intentionally surround myself with people with clear, kind eyes. Every now and then, there are a few who stand out from the rest. A particular integrity, innocence, and compassion glimmers through, sometimes like a soft caress, or maybe even a stern grasp. I look at their eyes and they look at mine, and we both feel like we could stay there forever. Chaste, romantic, maybe neither, maybe both. Whatever the case, an unmistakable connection is made, but neither of us names it, since we are too afraid that in the naming, the connection will fade. Sometimes I'm unable to look into a person's eyes because the death I see is too heavy to hold. I often keep secrets about how miserable I feel when I look at such a person and make the mistake of holding their agony a second too long. When I see the spoiled pulp of their eyes, I purge myself of their poison and cry a sound that no one should ever hear, a sound akin to a mother wailing over her child's casket. I have convulsed in the midst of tears until everything has been released. I am an empath of some sort. I am sensitive to people's eyes and hence their energy, so I must be careful whose eyes I rest in. I thought I could find a resting place in baby's eyes. There was vacancy in those black diamonds, and yet no room for me to rest. In all my years of teaching and volunteering at this place and that place, I had the audacity to think I knew what it meant to be selfless. At most, these things made for a good training ground for parenthood. During those 2 weeks, I learned truly what it meant to be selfless, and had a feeling the older she'd become, the more I'd learn. I was feeding her milk from my body without receiving anything in return, not even a loving look. My first lesson in sacrifice. I needed her eyes to feel connected, to prevent myself from feeling isolated. And yet, it was vital that I temporarily set aside this need until she gained focus. My single responsibility was to keep baby from dying. There's a fine line between keeping something from dying and keeping it alive. Attitude is the difference. Our perception of the power we possess as women is the difference. Since I had no concrete awareness of how rich and fertile the feminine spirit was, I viewed this milk of mine, this milk from these breasts of a first-time mom, as merely a substance without which an infant would perish. Not only did my breast milk keep her from dying, it drew out a golden hue that glowed from her nut-brown skin. This milk kept her alive and healthy, giving her all the nourishment she needed. This miraculous nectar healed the scratches on her face and forced her little baby acne to vanish. It even soothed the sores on my nipples. I kept her alive, and when she finally focused on me for the first time, she kept me alive. Her stare while nursing or waking from a good nap made me feel like her eyes were all I needed. Baby's black diamonds told me I was complete, enough, and okay. Thank you.